It's time for Cigar Talk, the fastest growing cigar show in the nation. Whether you're a new cigar enthusiast or a cigar aficionado, we have something for everyone, bringing you the best interviews, cigar reviews, and weekly giveaways. So grab yourself a cigar.
It's time to light 'em up.
And we are back. Welcome back, Cigar Talk. I'm your host, Rob Jones. We got Hatch filling in for Big B. He's down with COVID. So thanks for filling in.
Anytime.
And you want to tell everybody what you're smoking right quick?
I have got the Crux Epicure Robusto. It is very tasty.
Isn't it nice? Like, I've had one of those way back, and I was like, But then this go around, I had like a 5-pack of them. And the first one, I was like, oh, that's good.
Yeah, I really like this.
And so, anyway, I've been enjoying it. And I'm actually smoking the Quattro Cinco with a C. It should be a Q, shouldn't it?
It's Quattro Cinco.
I thought it was a Q with Quattro.
Looks like a Q. But...
No, a Q. That's
no,
a C.
That's definitely a C.
Yeah, I thought it was a Q on Quattro Cinco. No? You ever take Spanish?
I took Spanish 100 years ago.
All right, well, we're over there. Anyway, my wife took Spanish. She substituted that for a math class, I believe.
Oh my gosh.
Anyway, I haven't had this in a long time, and I saw it today, and I was like, you know what? I'm going to try it out. I do like that the Cinco, the last C is an upside-down 5.
Oh, that's cute.
That is cute. Now, if they used the Q right there on the very beginning of Quattro, then I would be like, all right, now you're getting it. Anyway, I'm going to light this up. Tell everybody what you're drinking.
Oh, man. I have got the Knob Creek Small Batch 12-year, and I don't think I've ever had this before. It's got some heat to it, but it's got a lot of flavor as well. So if you have not tried that, definitely try it sometime.
Now, you said it was a little hot.
A little bit.
You put water in it? You put a little?
I put a tiny drop just to see if it opened it up.
And did it?
Actually, I've not tried it since I did.
Oh, well.
I know.
Get on it, girl. So I'm having the last of the Old Forester 1920, which is, besides the single barrel, is my favorite Old Forester.
Agreed.
So what do you think? Did it open it up?
Yes. I would just put a teeny tiny drop of water, and that was it.
Did it take the heat off at all?
Yes.
Really?
Yeah.
See, I'd never put water in mine.
I don't either.
And so maybe that's a new thing. Don't be dumb.
Try something new, Rob.
Right? And I don't do that a lot, except for cigars. Anyway, guys, we have a show lined up for you. Good thing, because we're doing it. We're going to do my 3 cigars of the week. We're going to talk about the bourbon choice of the week and the best pairing that we've had. And then we have some announcements. And then we're going to talk about Dwight Yoakam, John Conley. There's a pair you don't see like together. And then we're going to do the McAuliffe Minute. And then Hatch has brought her top 5 must-see movies at least once. Right?
There are going to be 5 movies I think everybody should at least see once in their life.
Right. I'm interested to see what those 5 would be that you think everyone should see.
Okay.
All right, guys. So the bourbon of the week for me has been the one I'm drinking. And as you can see, the Old Forester 1920 is about empty. But it was, you know what? It was a tough choice for me, though, because we had the what was that bourbon we had last week?
The Larceny?
Oh, that Larceny barrel proof was really good.
That is.
But like we finished that off on Sunday last week, so I didn't get much of it. This was opened up on Monday. So that's why I'm going with this one. How about you? What's your bourbon of the week? I know you've had a few.
I'm going to go with the Larceny just because, again, that was the first time I'd had that particular one.
And it was a nice surprise.
Yeah.
Like, when you had it the first time, it was a little hot, but it dissipated very quickly.
Very quickly, yes.
And the amount of flavor, like I think it has way more flavor than that 12-year-old from Knob Creek.
I don't know.
Really? I'm not drinking the Knob Creek, so maybe after this one I'll have that.
Yeah.
Okay.
It had a lot of flavor, though. I liked it. For it being the first time I've had it, it was really good.
And, I mean, it was like $65.
Yeah.
For a barrel proof of that quality, that's not bad.
No, and I think Ed had said he originally found it for like 100 somewhere or something, so it was a great price. Happened to stumble on that.
Yeah, 100%. And so my favorite pairing of the week was actually this 1920. And some guys are going to be like, oh, I should have known. But it was actually with the Medallia. You know, the Medallia pairs with a lot of cigar. I mean, it's a lot of bourbons. Because it has a very complex flavor.
Yeah.
It doesn't change a whole lot, but you get a lot of different notes all together.
Yeah, I agree.
And you see, while we were at the Leaf this morning, and old man Bill's like, what do I want to smoke? And I was like, just go get a Medallion. He's like, oh, I don't want one of those. And I was like, and he, first of all, he's going to be grumpy as shit no matter what. But that's just Bill. Like, you could be like, I'm going to give you a solid 24 karat gold cigar. And he'd be like, I don't want that.
And it's the morning, too. You know, that doesn't work for him either.
Right. So anyway, I said, well, you know what? We were walking out of the humidor and he says, he's feeling it like this. He's like, I think it's going to have a tight draw. And I said, it's not going to have a tight draw. Those never have a tight draw. And he's like, I don't know. And I said, if it has a tight draw, I'll pay for it, Bill. And he's like, all right. And of course, he cuts it. And I say, well, how's the draw? And he tries it. And he's like, you know, I guess it's okay. I snatched it out of his hand. And you know how to test draw someone else's cigar? Put your mouth on the unlit end, of course, but the other end, and you can, that's the draw, you know? And I was like, oh, that's perfect. Oh, it is? I was like, yeah, it is. But that's the group we hang out with once a week, the faculty.
Tell them Bill's new nickname.
Oh, we got Baby Billy, you know, from Bible Bonkers. I don't know if any of you guys watch the Gemstones, but I do on occasion. And Bible Billy is our friend Bill. And
Baby Billy.
And Bill used to be a pastor, so it really kind of fits.
If you're not watching that show, you need to watch it.
I think they should do a spinoff. I was thinking about that earlier today. They should do a spinoff with just Baby Billy, but make it animated.
There you go. That'd be good.
Baby Billy's something, you know? Bonkers. Baby Billy is bonkers.
That's a good one.
So, anyway, and then Ed was at the Leaf, and so we were short Larry, for you guys at home that know, Big Larry. And then Bryant's down with COVID, and nobody wants to be around that. You know what I mean? So, anyway, we were a little shorthanded today, but we still had a good turnout and good cigars, good conversations. You were actually talking about, like, you sent me a video, you know, that weird. And so where did you come across that? And let's tell everybody what it is.
Oh, man. So I subscribe to this email. It's like a daily newsletter. And it is called, what is this? Eon plus Psych Daily and Psyche Daily. And it's very short, but they put up very thought-provoking articles, videos. And this one is an animated video. It's 16 minutes long, but it's with stick figures. And it's kind of asking some very existential questions. So I had Rob watch it, and he enjoyed it. And then watched some other videos of the creators. So
I missed out on this very first part where the thing is ringing.
Oh.
I never knew that it was like that.
Oh.
So I thought it looked like a stick man with a wiener. I mean, you gotta be honest, it did.
Tell them the name of the video. I think it's called, is it World of Tomorrow?
It is called World of Tomorrow, and it's at psych.co. Right?
Psych.co.
Yeah, that's the
I don't know.
top read that.
Good Lord, it's not just psych.co. Don't type that in.
Okay.
I don't know what that will go to.
People are like, I didn't want to see that. I've been scarred. No, but anyway, I found it very interesting, and then I went down a rabbit hole with the rest of them, and it was like a good 30 minutes. You kept looking over there waiting for me to respond. I'm like, hey, I'm watching this. And, I don't normally put on my headphones when I'm at the Leaf, but when I was watching that video, I did, and I was like, you know what, this is kind of nice, because it filtered out that dude sitting next to me that I didn't want to be sitting next to.
It was one of those today.
Yeah, we had, like, you know what? I welcome people. I say hello. I'm friendly. But when there's like 4 or 5 people in the middle of like deep conversation, you don't just drag a chair up and be like, hey, I'm joining in. And it's like, oh, I'm sorry. I'm Rob Jones. What's your name? And they introduce themselves. And I'm like, oh, okay. You live here? Never seen you before. And then he shares with me a lot of information that I really didn't want to know. He's probably listening to this. I did tell him about the show. So there you go, Ryan. If that is your name.
Oh, my gosh.
So anyway, the cigars of the week. I've got a list this week, and right out the gate is the Aladino Corojo Reserva. Have you ever had that?
I have not.
Oh, that is a great smoke. If I can't believe you've never had it, to be honest with you, because it's like that good. I got a picture of it somewhere. I'm surprised you didn't smoke it because it was in the humidor, and it looked different. It had the yellow bands.
Where in the humidor?
In this humidor.
Oh, yours. Oh, no.
You're like, nope, didn't see it. So that's the Aladino right there. And Jay has those at the Leaf.
Oh, nice. I've never seen those.
I don't know that he has the Corojo Reserva, but he does have the Corojo. And Aladino makes a great cigar. I've always been a fan of what they do. And so that's cigar number 1 of the week. And then number 2, get my notes back out, is the Crux Epicure.
Yes.
I was surprised by it. I really... and just straight up, those were a gift from Crux.
Oh, okay.
So I've smoked Crux before. I always liked the Bear and what was it? You know what I'm talking about? They have another line, the Bear and shit. I know Zake is in the background going, whatever it is, he's yelling at me. But Crux, Bear, and let's see, here goes. Okay, it's the Bull and Bear.
Bull and Bear.
I always liked that one. And so there's a couple of other ones that I like, but the Epicure, I think I've only smoked it once, and it was like, at that time I was just kind of like, it's good. I'm not knocking it, but it wasn't something that I would seek out. That is good enough to seek out to me.
Yes, this is my second one this week. So.
And I'm having problems with my Quattro.
Your Quattro with a Q?
Mm-hmm. There we go. Now, cigar number 3 is going to be, this is a solid one anytime. Arturo Fuentes Don Carlos in the Robusto. That's a very, I call it a meaty stick,
I haven't had that one in a long time.
You need to revisit it. I have it probably once a month just because I enjoy it.
Yeah.
It's not one of those cigars I want to smoke all the time, though, because it would just be too much.
Yeah.
There's certain cigars that I can smoke one after the other. And then there's certain cigars there's like, it's either like a special occasion or I haven't had it in a while and I want to remind myself about that blend.
Okay.
You know what I mean? Do you do that with cigars? Is there certain cigars that you like? What's a prime example of a special occasion for you?
One that has, I guess, a significance for me would be the Arturo 858. So That was one of the first ones I smoked with
Now, is that the natural or the Maduro?
Maduro.
Okay.
Yeah.
Now, is that a celebration cigar or is that a...
No, just like a good memory cigar.
Okay,
Like,
cool.
Yeah.
And like what associated? Is it like a memory of someone or like...
Yes. So I had a really good friend years ago, and I remember us having a great time smoking those, drinking some bourbon, and I always think of that, like really good time when we were doing that. And so I don't know, I always just think, for whatever reason, that cigar is burned into my memory.
Stands out, yeah.
It's not the greatest thing you'll ever have in your life, but it's a good, solid cigar. So.
And the 858s are, I mean, they're standard.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I can smoke those anytime.
Oh, yeah.
It's a lot like the McAuliffe Medallia for me, and it's also a lot like one of our other sponsors, which is Tabanero Cigars. They're sun-grown Robusto. Like, to me, I could smoke that all day long.
Yeah.
Excuse me while I have a drink. Anyway, that's going to wrap up this week's Cigars of the Week. The bourbon of the week, I already told you, is going to be, for me, the 1920 from Old Forester. And I would love to know about, like, bourbons that you guys know of, or that, like, maybe they're your go-to bourbons that you like that's under $50. You know what I mean? Like, if it's under $50,
Let's not go bananas with anything $200 or something. Like,
right. I mean, if I buy a bottle for $200, which I haven't, like, what's the top you've spent on a bottle of bourbon?
Oh, 65. I mean, like that's.
Oh, so you've already capped out.
Yeah, I'm like, no.
So mine was 100.
Okay.
And the funny thing is, the one I bought, I never had it before. I'd never seen it before, and I didn't even know it existed.
Yeah.
But it was the Heaven's Door.
Yeah.
And it was the Master Distiller's edition, and it had been aged. It was 10 years old, but it had been aged in the Irish whiskey redbreast steel pots for 18 months.
Wow. So was it worth 100?
Oh, 100%. In fact, I bought it when I was in Dallas, and they had 2 bottles, and they were just out on the shelf. And, I had never paid $100 for a bottle before, so I wasn't like, thinking I'm going to buy both of them. I'm not going to drop $200 on 2 bottles. So anyway, when I get home, I Googled the bottle, and I couldn't find it for less than like $400.
Are you serious?
Serious.
Good gosh.
And Bryant was leaving to go to Dallas the next day, and I was like, dude, go by this liquor store and get that other bottle. And of course it wasn't there. And I've never seen it since. But I would easily pay $100, and MSRP on it is actually $92.95.
Okay.
So $100 is, you're good. But yeah, it was delicious. And you know what I did with that bottle? I took it down to the Leaf, and everybody got a shot at it.
Oh, nice. You're so sweet.
Well, to me, that's what you do with good bourbon.
Yeah.
You share. I mean, if I'm home drinking alone, I can drink Old Tub.
Ed is the best at that, of bringing really good stuff to share.
Oh, 100%. That's where I learned it.
Yeah.
Like, I told you he brought in the Knob Creek 15-year-old. You were there for that.
Yes.
That wasn't near as hot as this. That 15, it was way more mellow.
See, I didn't try it that day, so.
Oh, well, then you missed out.
I know.
Yeah, in fact, when I saw it, I was like, I didn't even know they made a 15. And so when I saw it, I was like, hey, whose is this? And I found out it was Ed. I was like, oh, I don't even have to ask for a shot. And anyway, it was magnificent. But I wonder what that costs now. That's well over $100 now. And the funny thing is, like, Ed bought it a few years ago and forgot about it. And then when he stumbled upon it, he was like, oh, I'll take it to the Leaf. Because that's what you do.
Oh, Ed.
Share with your people.
Yes,
you know? All right. Hey, guys, we're going to take a quick little short break. And when we come back, we're going to do the McAuliffe Minute. And then we're going to hear from Hatch, her top 5 must-see movies. So don't go anywhere. We'll be right back. And we're back. Thanks, guys, for hanging out. And let's turn on the video. Boom. There we go. And so, if you don't know, we are now live streaming on YouTube and the Facebook page of Cigar Talk Podcast. Now, hey, here's a couple of other announcements I wanted to give you. If you haven't joined our Discord, come on over there. The link is in the show notes. We have great community at the Cigar Talk, and we actually call it the Cigar Talk Circus because it's crazy. But come over there, and we're gonna start doing where we're gonna start our own poker league. You don't play poker, do you?
I love poker.
Do you really?
Yeah. Hold 'em.
Are you serious?
I am.
How did I not know this about you?
You did, but you've had a few drinks since then.
Wow, I did not know that.
Now, I'm not saying I'm great.
It doesn't.
At it.
If you've played and you understand how the game is played,
Absolutely.
that's all you need to know.
Yeah.
Have you ever where do you play?
Oh, I haven't played in
Years?
15 years. Yeah.
Why?
I don't know people who regularly play.
That's what sucks about Abilene. Before I moved here, I played weekly with people.
Yeah. I guess I've played in one tournament locally. So, and that was
played in one locally too.
Yeah, that was back in like 2004. So it's been nearly 20 years.
This was back. You remember when they were going to open that poker parlor over there on Butternut?
Yeah.
And Abilene as a town were assholes and we're like, yeah, we're not going to let you do that.
Not doing it.
That doesn't fall into the guidelines of, the Baptist or Church of Christ.
But by golly, those people play bingo like that nobody's business.
And you know what happened is they opened it in San Angelo.
Oh, did they really?
Yeah.
Wow.
And I've been to Lubbock. Those poker rooms are all over. Like if you want to go play Hold'em 24/7.
Wow. We're missing out.
That's Abilene for you. But we are getting an Insomnia Cookie Factory. They make cookies, at least in Lubbock, they stay open till like 2 or 3 in the morning, and they make awesome cookies. Like
I'm excited to try them. I've never
some
had
kind of
one.
mint cookie, some kind of, chocolate chip. That's always a hit. But my favorite is oatmeal and raisin. Like if you perfect it to where it's not dry and crumbly, but it's chewy, but you get all the, you know what? I'm going to issue a contest here now. Zeka and Sham, not Shamu, Sham. Y'all make oatmeal cookies and let's see who does the best. Those are like two dudes that cook all the time. Anyway, I'm excited they're going to come here. We're excited when anything new comes to Abilene.
Pretty much.
I mean, it's not on a regular basis that we get new stuff. Now, have you ever been to the Hooters here?
Not the local one. I think the only one I've been to is in like San Antonio. And again, that was 25 years ago.
Yeah, well, I've never been to the one here because I'm not that big of a fan of their food.
I honestly forget it exists. It's in the worst location.
Well, that's how Abilene wanted it.
Designed for truckers pulling off the highway and go to Hooters. That's what it's designed for.
But it's horrible to even get there if you're in a semi.
You have, no. You have to park at like Lowe's or something and walk.
Right, and it's like 100 yards away from Lowe's. So that's not, I don't like it. Anyway, we're going to, you know what? I wanted to ask you, how was Dwight Yoakam last night?
Dude, Dwight was awesome. So if you're a Dwight Yoakam fan, this dude played every freaking hit back to back to back to back that you would expect. And
how long was the show?
Oh, he played for at least I'd say a good hour and a half. He had an opening band, and
he did.
Yeah, they were from Lubbock. They were, I don't know, early 20s, mid 20s.
And were they any good, or did they suck?
They were good. I tell you, they were the most diverse band I think I've seen in a long time. Just you would not expect to see them being. I know I'm like country, music artists and stuff. So
okay,
but no, Dwight sounded great. He did his little shimmy that you would expect, and you would.
Oh, the little where he puts the guitar out in front of him and dances with the guitar.
He's playing to the crowd, absolutely. And what I also appreciated about him is a lot of these older guys, and he's about to be 67. A lot of these guys who are in their 70s, maybe early 80s, that come through town, they spend a lot of time talking, and they are trying to take a breather. Understandably, I mean, you can't fault them for that, but they want to tell a lot of stories, and Dwight spent 95% of the time
doing music, which is what we come to see.
He was an artist.
You want to tell stories, go do an interview somewhere.
Now, tell us about the concert you went to recently.
So I went to see John Conley, and that was nothing like what you went to. It was, not anything like what I was hoping for.
Tell us what you experienced. What was it?
I experienced a bunch of dudes from the old folks' home. And I'm sure you can't see this, but that's that dude standing there. He looks like he's about heading down to the old Walmart. Yep. And if you can see right there in the picture, look, right there, he pulls out a stool so he can sit down in between songs and tell a story.
Yeah.
And so that's the whole thing. And you know what the best part of that was? I had good seats, and John Conley's voice sounds exactly like it did 40 years ago. It's just he did like 4 of his hit songs, and then it turned into a revival. And I was like, I didn't know that was coming.
Rob, did you get saved?
Nope, I didn't go down.
Come on.
And in between each song, though, I mean, conversations with people in the crowd.
Killing time.
So, are you from around here? And I'm like, everybody's from here. Exactly. Nobody's driving to Abilene to see John Conley.
Oh, I'm sure there were plenty who did.
Do you think? Well, and I'll say this, though. Like, I was one of the younger people at the concert.
Oh, I totally believe that. And, you know, those were my tickets. I was going to go and opted not to, and I gave them to you.
She was going to go and like, I didn't know it was a revival. I'll give these to Rob. He needs help.
The plan worked almost. Yes. So close. But we've got another concert we're about to go to.
And I'm very excited about this one.
Yes, we got several, actually. You and I are going to the same two.
The Bacon Brothers.
Got that.
And the funny thing is, when Hatch told me that we were doing the Bacon Brothers, I was like, I don't know who that is. And she's like, are you serious? And then she said something about Kevin Bacon, and I was like, oh, yeah, I know who Kevin Bacon is. So I just didn't know, he was a musician.
And then right after that, who did we get to go see?
I didn't know you were going to that one.
Yeah.
It's Stewart.
Marty Stewart.
Marty Stewart. And I'm a big fan of Marty Stewart. In fact, I sent my youngest brother, Russell, a video yesterday of Marty Stewart with Merle Haggard doing the Farmer's Daughter song.
Yeah.
And I told him, this always makes me think of Dad, because our dad loved that song. He loved Merle Haggard, but he also loved Marty Stewart.
Yeah.
So seeing that video, I'm looking forward to it. I'm like, dude, he's got to play that song.
I hope he does.
Like, I don't even know where we're sitting, but wherever you're sitting, I'm sure you're like close. You need to carry a sign that says Farmer's Daughter. Like, that would help me out.
I could just yell out like at the John Conley concert, I guess.
I yelled out. He was like doing a pop quiz or something, and I was like, I'll take 200 for Get Back to Singing. But, he was, you know what? He's old. I don't know what he's doing, but he was no Dwight Yoakam.
No.
Like, Dwight Yoakam is an entertainer.
He is an entertainer, and a talented one, too.
And I don't think John Conley was ever an entertainer. You know what I mean? I don't think that his show has varied that much from whenever they were young. They were a studio band.
Yeah, I can see that.
So they sound great, but nobody wants to hear them talk.
And you got a lot of talking.
Yeah. So anyway, guys, all right, let's get on to the McAuliffe Minute. And this week we are going to do, you name this movie and send me the email. It'll be in the show notes. And anyone who gets the name of the movie and the leading actor, you know what? Leading 2 actors.
Boom.
Because they're co-leaders, right?
Oh, yeah.
Okay. And here we go.
Holy shit, look at that guy on the wrong side of the highway. He's going to kill somebody.
God!
Hey! Hey!
Hey, what's going on?
Some joke
Joker wants to race.
Don't race. That's ridiculous.
All right, come on. Let's go. Let's go.
What I love, well, we can't say who that was, but you know who that was, guys. If you know, send me an email, and we need the name of the movie and the 2 actors in that scene. Oh, we have the Hatch top 5 movies of you must see this week, or not this week. I mean, top movies of this week for whenever.
Well, you originally said the topic was we're going to pick 5 top movies, and
Well,
I said
when I said we, I meant you.
And so these are not my top 5 of all time. They're not top 5 in any category.
Nobody can ever do a top 5 of all time.
I know. That's why
all
I'm
bullshit.
like, I'm not doing that.
No. It's just like, give me 5 movies that you think I need to see.
Okay, so these are thought-provoking movies. We'll put it that way. They are ones that you're not going to see them for escapism or really entertainment purposes. They're going to be very thought-provoking.
All right.
So the first,
Interesting. That top 5.
Nope. There's 5 that are thought-provoking that I think people should see at least once.
5 thought-provoking movies everyone should see.
Yeah.
Boom. Finally. All right.
You're going to like the first one. You're going to totally agree with me.
Okay.
A Clockwork Orange.
Oh, yeah. If you could see, we have a poster on the wall over here, or whatever you call it. Now, when did you see that movie?
Oh, man, probably 10 years ago, I would say.
Okay, so you, waited a long time to see it.
Well, I mean, it's not age appropriate for children, so I was in my 20s and finally said, you know what, I think I want to watch
10
it.
years ago, you weren't like... No, don't give me that.
I was late 20s.
All right. I mean, you weren't barely scraping 20. Anyway, so you're 27 at the time.
Sure, whatever, sure. Ish.
And
maybe 25.
so
who knows?
still, I mean, I was seeing that movie when I was 16.
Okay, but you would agree it's one everyone should see at least once.
Yeah, and I would say that 90% of people are going to be like, I didn't like it at all.
I hated it.
Did you hate it?
No, I found it very thought-provoking. It's very philosophical. I mean, my gosh.
Very philosophical, and it shows you, just the behavior or what behavior humans are capable of.
It's also psychological, but...
Right. Well, that's part of what you're capable of.
Right.
And so, I mean, it was not only, a lot of brutality... It was also psychological, abuse to whoever's watching it.
And it's a classic Stanley Kubrick.
Kubrick can't. Yeah, I agree 100%. I'm a Kubrick fan.
I am too.
The Shining. Are you aware that is The Shining on your list?
It is not.
Okay, don't want to take the air out of your sails, but. The Shining, did you know Stephen King can't stand Kubrick?
I know you had said that.
Because he changed up all this shit in the book to suit himself. And
you sided with Team Kubrick.
I did. And I mean, the parts that he changed, I didn't think it really made me a difference. And that was to say, you know what? Kubrick was like, you know what? This isn't even a big deal to me, but because I can do it, here's a big F you, Steven. Mm-hmm. For real. And so that was it for them. Okay, sorry. Didn't mean to go off on a tangent. But yeah, I agree with you. If you haven't seen Clockwork Orange, I highly recommend it just to be one of the people who've seen it. Because in this day and age, I would bet a very small percentage of people under the age of 30 have seen it.
I agree. And it's one everyone should see once. And give us your thoughts about it. I mean, really. If you didn't like it, tell us why you didn't like it. If you loved it.
Yeah, and the other thing is, certain films, hold up over time.
Yes.
That movie doesn't. The film.
Oh, no.
You know what I mean? It is so the time frame of when it was made.
Absolutely. And this came out in 1971.
Right.
You don't know that.
So, I mean, if you've seen a lot of movies,
the book was written in the early 60s, so yeah. It's very much a product of its time, we'll say that.
Yeah. And you should definitely watch it drinking. Anyway, all right. What's the next one?
All right, next one I know you've seen. I'm going to go with Eternal Sunshine of the Spotless Mind.
That is a very good movie.
Yes.
Like, I really enjoyed that. It's one of those movies that I got lost in it.
Really?
Yeah. I mean, like,
You kind of almost have to have a preface of how to watch it at the beginning. You almost kind of have to have someone frame it for you so it makes sense and you're not totally confused.
yeah. And the way it cuts back and forth, you can forget, like, what is reality and what is not. That's what I mean by I get lost in it. Because sometimes I'm like, is that really happening? You know what I mean? So no, I really enjoyed it though. And who was the main actor in that?
That is Jim Carrey and Kate Winslet.
Yeah, Jim Carrey knocked it out of the park.
Oh my gosh,
too.
one of my favorite roles of his of all time, for sure, like hands down.
Now let me ask you this: do you consider it to be a everyone should see Truman?
I love the Truman Show.
I hated it.
Why?
Oh my
Why?
God, it sucked.
Why?
It was so slow.
Oh, my
it was so
God.
boring. Oh. No, thank you. But my wife loved it. My wife, that's one of her all-time favorite movies.
Oh man, yeah. The Truman Show has a lot of deep, I guess, theological questions in it. You know, a little bit of philosophical, but yeah.
Yeah. It was damn. All right, anyway. All right, so what's your next one?
All right. Have you heard of the film Mother?
Oh, I love that movie.
You're like one of 5 people on the planet who
Me
saw
and my
that.
wife, we love that movie.
Okay, so this one has Jennifer Lawrence and Javier Bardem. Are we talking about the same one?
Oh, we are not.
Oh, I knew you hadn't seen
Oh,
it.
my
I
God.
knew it. I'm like, really?
No, you've watched the wrong Mother. That's the problem. And I'm sure you've seen the one I've seen.
I don't know what you're talking about, no. I think there's a show called, isn't it Mother-in-Law?
Well, tell us about your...
So Mother is one of those, and it's what is it, Darren Aronofsky or whatever. It's one of his. He did Black Swan. He did Requiem for a Dream. This one came out in 2017, and it's one of those you're watching it, and you're like, okay, clearly this is symbolic. This is an allegory for something. What is going on here? And you're watching it, and you're and then all of a sudden, for most people, there comes a time when it dawns on you what this entire film represents. And anyways, and it's very brilliantly done just because it's very unique. It's very original, I'll say that. But it's a weird one. Again, still think it's something everybody should see once.
Okay, you know what? But it's the wrong movie.
Well, tell us about your mother. My gosh.
Yes. All right, here you go. I'm going to let you listen to a clip.
I'll tell you, I'm really not hungry at all. No, the salad is fine, I promise.
Oh. I'm gonna give you some cheese.
That's a lot of cheese.
Got it in hunks.
Mother, look at the date. It's 3 years old.
Well, it's been in the freezer.
Yeah, but how cheap was it that you wanted to buy this much of it?
Honey, this is wonderful cheese. It comes from Switzerland. Very hard to get.
How could it be hard to get? It's all here. I don't want the cheese.
Now, dear.
Mother, stop. I don't want any. I don't want any.
So you've never seen that, Mother.
I have not seen this Albert Brooks.
That's one of his best all-time movies. All right, so go ahead and tell me about your mother. I mean, not your mother, but the movie you're talking
just
about.
did.
I wasn't listening. I was.
Good Lord.
I mean,
Why don't you go back and
how
listen
old
to this
is it?
recording?
How-
It came out in 2017.
So it's relatively new.
Yes.
And so, what was the premise?
I can't tell you that. It's very symbolic. But it's very thought-provoking. Like, you're going to be sitting there going, this clearly is, representing something. What is it representing? And then it'll later on dawn on you. So, yeah.
Sometimes people are disappointed that things don't dawn on me.
And I've had some friends that it did not dawn on them. I had to tell them, but most people, they get it, so.
I'm impressed that your friends were like, yeah, I didn't get it.
I didn't get it at all.
Ooh. All right, you got 2 left. What else you got?
All right, you ready for the next one?
I'm ready.
We've talked about this one recently, and I still want you to see it. It is The Tree of Life from 2011. Has Brad Pitt and Jessica Chastain. And it is about a Texas family back in the 50s. So, has Sean Penn in it, too.
And I love periodic movies.
Mm-hmm.
And in America's history, like, I love movies that take us back to a time that I wasn't alive.
Yeah.
To see the culture, the technology.
So the director is Terrence Malick, and he's very artistic. He has a very distinct directing style, and it's, I don't want to say autobiographical, but it's semi-autobiographical.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it's kind of his reflections on life and growing up and existence, our place in the universe. I mean, just very, very thought-provoking.
And this was in the 50s.
Yeah.
Now, I mean, there's a lot of great movies made about the 50s. And some that were dumb, but they were great. Like Grease.
I can't stand Grease.
What do you hate about Grease?
It has the worst ending of all time if you're a female.
I don't even remember the ending. What did the main character get raped or murdered?
It's basically saying if you want to get a guy, you have to change who you are.
Oh, so that's not the worst ending.
Sure, there are worse
if she was
endings
chopped
out
up
there.
into pieces.
She could have been murdered or raped.
Thank you. So it wasn't that bad. No, it was but that's how it was in the 50s.
And it's also all 35-year-olds playing 16-year-olds.
That's true. I mean, I'm not saying it's a good movie, but it's a cultural,
yes.
If you haven't seen Grease,
You gotta see
live
it.
under a
You
rock.
have to see it. Great music.
And I saw it when I was like junior high.
And it never dawned on you the woman had to change to get her man.
It never dawned on my parents that it was inappropriate for a young teenager to see that movie because I grew up in the 80s.
Oh, my God.
I mean, do you realize that my mom and dad took me to The Exorcist in 1973? I was 4 years old.
I really judge your parents.
Oh, they had no idea what they were doing.
It's called The Exorcist. What did they think was going to happen?
Well, one, I don't even think my parents knew. My mother didn't even start going to church until she went to a Billy Graham crusade in 1976.
So
she's from Canada.
Did she go after she saw that movie?
No. Apparently not. Took a few years. Because at that time, what's weird, though, is we saw that movie at the mall in Lubbock. And we didn't move to Lubbock till 74. So maybe that movie came out in 73, but they were still playing it in 74. You know what I mean? So I was probably 5. But I was old enough to remember, like, throughout most of the movie, I watched it like this.
Yeah, of course you did.
It was like, don't look, but I can hear everything.
Yeah, you skipped like 4 ratings or whatever, and
yeah. Anyway, that's how it was when I grew up. I saw everything. I saw Jaws when I was a young kid. That's rated R.
No, it wasn't.
Are you sure?
Google it. I'm almost positive.
She has a phone right in front of her, and she's like, Google it.
If I think it was
she's
PG or
like,
not.
I'm not Olivia Newton-John.
Secretary.
I'm not doing shit.
This ain't Grease.
Yeah. Let's see.
No, I'm like, it's probably PG-13, but something makes me want to say it was PG. I could be wrong. Well, what's the verdict?
All right, give me 1 second. Original 1975.
Okay, well, it's not R.
Oh, forgot. It's PG.
I thought so. I'm like, yeah.
Well, you know what? Watching it, it should have been R. First of all, you had a naked girl swimming in the ocean. That's how the movie starts. And then you have like kids being pulled under the water and blood.
Yes.
That's not, PG has changed.
I don't know why it's PG personally, so.
Yeah, I would have never thought that was PG.
Well, I'm glad you experienced that as a child.
Have you seen Jaws?
Of course I've seen
the original.
Jaws. I've seen 1, 2, and 3.
I've seen the first one. That's all I need to see.
That's all you need to see. The rest are awful.
If I don't.
I take it back. I didn't see 3. I just saw 2.
If I love a movie and they make a sequel, there's a good chance I'm not going to see it, especially if it's a whole new cast.
Well, you didn't miss anything with Jaws 2.
I'm sure. Oh, look here. We're not going to... Oh, wait. Is that somebody calling from on the show?
I don't think so.
I don't know who Daniel D is. Let's see. Hello? Hello? Can you hear me now?
Hello?
Yeah, who's this?
DJ, Daniel.
Oh, hey, man, I'm off work. Can you call our buddy over there, Jacob Melendez?
Okay. I didn't know if he was still on vacation or not.
No,
I just tried to call him.
No. All right, man, I appreciate it. Thanks. All right, we'll have to edit that out. Let's mark it. Boom. Look right there. Boom, we can do that now. You see that? Now I don't have to remember to take that out. It's like, there'll tell me.
Boom.
Anyway, while you tell us about your last one,
Okay.
I'm going to pour myself another drink.
Did you ever happen to see, this came out in 2008, did you happen to see the film called Doubt that had Meryl Streep and Philip Seymour Hoffman? It's based on I think it's a Pulitzer Prize winning play.
You know, I'm going to have to actually look that up because...
She plays a...
what was the name of the movie?
Doubt. Doubt is really, really good. Again, very thought-provoking.
I love anything with Philip Seymour Hoffman.
He's great.
I really...
Was.
What do you mean was?
He died years ago.
What?
He had a cocaine or heroin overdose.
Are you serious?
How did you not know that? Why do you think he hadn't been anything in 100 years?
I knew they were on strike. I did not know he died. I love that guy. Did you ever see the movie he did where he was a gambling addict?
Wait, what's that one called? I think I did.
I'll have to look it up.
This morning, before I spoke with Mrs. Miller.
Oh,
I
is
took
he
the
a
precaution
priest?
of calling the
Yes.
last parish.
What do you say?
Oh,
The pastor.
I did not speak to the pastor. I spoke to a nun.
You should have spoken to the pastor.
So the whole premise
I
of this
spoke to a nun.
film...
You know, that's not the proper route for you to have taken, sister. The church is very clear. You're supposed to go through the pastor.
Why? You have an understanding, you and he?
No, you have no right to go rummaging through my past.
You have a history. This is your third parish in 5 years.
Call the
Why?
pastor.
Oh, yeah. I want to see that already. Just from that little clip, I want to see that because, first of all, I love him as an actor.
Oh, he's great. So the whole premise of this movie is, do you think he molested one of the boys in this school?
Is he the priest?
He's the priest, or did he not? And the way that they do it is really brilliant because you're constantly going back and forth.
Oh.
Yeah. So you never can just, definitely settle on one side. And they both do fantastic acting jobs in it.
And that came out in about 2008, you think?
Yep.
Wow. So, yeah, he's done a lot of movies that I still haven't seen, but I need to see them.
Well, he's not producing more, so you've got plenty of time to see them all.
Well, you never know that.
AI?
No, I'm saying you don't know if I have that long.
This is true.
So, let's see. I want to say it was... I can't remember the name of the movie, so let's see if... Oh, Owning Mahoney.
No.
Oh, my gosh.
I see the title Owning Mahoney, and that doesn't just jump out at me.
No, it doesn't. It was a movie that we actually just stumbled upon.
I'm like, that's one you just keep...
1982, he was promoted to assistant branch manager of a Toronto bank, a position that gave him access to bigger accounts and large sums of money. His boss loved him. Owning Mahoney.
Owning Mahoney. But it was like he was this nerdy banker guy, and he started taking out loans. And if he won, he paid back the loan, and he had a shit ton of money. And I mean, he wasn't going to the casino with like $200. He was going with like $20,000.
Wow.
And then he might come home with like 100,000 extra.
You know, he's also in Boogie Nights if you want to check that one out.
You know, I've seen parts of that movie, and it's never been one that I'm like, I'm interested. I'm really not. Are you? Have you seen it?
I've seen it several times.
Several times. So you liked it?
I saw it once on my own, once for a film class, and then probably like once it was just on TV or something. So like HBO.
Yeah, it wasn't one of those 70s films that I was interested in.
Yeah.
I mean, if you want to go 70s films, I'm going to name one you're probably going to be like, I hate that.
God.
Saturday Night Fever.
Yes, it's awful.
I think you just have something against John Travolta, is what I see.
I want to be friends with John Travolta.
But do you like his movies? Give me a movie he did that you liked.
Pulp Fiction.
Anything else?
You said one.
I know, but now you're on a roll.
Look Who's Talking. He's the voice in that.
That one's, I can't consider that a John Travolta movie.
I mean, I saw Phenomenon. I saw Michael. You know, he had all those 90s things.
I didn't like any of those movies.
Yeah.
In that Face Off, hated it.
Face Off.
You remember that one?
Oh, yeah.
Who was that? The
Nicolas
Cage.
Yeah.
They swapped faces.
The thing about John Travolta is he's done a lot of really bad movies, but he seems like such a nice guy.
He seems like the coolest guy. Yes. Like you want to just hang out with the dude.
I follow him on Instagram. He seems just like a normal dude, and he makes all these awful films.
You know what celebrity I follow? I don't follow very many, but you know which one I follow because I find him very interesting as a person because he's always sharing like lives with his family.
Who?
Sylvester Stallone.
Get out of town, really.
He's like, they go on these family trips, and I mean, they're just having fun, you know?
That's awesome. Good for him.
Yeah. And so once I stumbled across one of his videos while he was doing a family thing, and I was just like, that shocks me.
Did you see that film Travolta was in about the Bubble Boy?
Oh, yes. Was that a movie or was that a TV special?
I don't know. I thought it was a movie. I don't know.
I'm pretty sure it was a TV special.
I just think of the Bubble Boy.
Yeah.
Movie.
Well, you're referring, they didn't call him the Bubble Boy. That was Seinfeld. The Bubble Boy.
Seinfeld names it the Bubble Boy. That's what you're called. You're the Bubble Boy.
Yeah, you know what? I remember that movie on TV when I was a kid, and it was awful.
I barely remember it.
In fact, really and truly, like you know what? Jive Talking, Saturday Night Fever, that movie was like a cultural, you have to see that movie.
Well, we were just talking about this last night. One of the worst movies ever, and this is probably going to anger some of your viewers, is Urban Cowboy. That is truly an awful movie, but he gained notoriety for that for whatever reason.
Well, I mean, he had already done the Saturday Night Fever.
Mm-hmm.
So then when he flips it and does the midnight rodeo dancing guy, you know, it was like, of course. And I didn't tell you this. So my dad was a conductor for the railroad, Santa Fe. And they hauled freight from wherever to wherever, but that's what you do. But one trip after Urban Cowboy, he had 2 passenger cars tacked onto the rear of his train, and it was John Travolta in one car, and the other car was Ed McMahon.
Shut up.
And they were traveling from like Houston to California.
That's awesome.
They had their own business cars, like they owned them.
Oh, wow.
And so anyway,
can I own one? Can you tote
Oh, absolutely.
Okay, I want to be toted around.
There is
How much do those things cost?
I mean, it depends, you know.
I need a fancy one.
Yeah, that's pretty high dollar.
Okay.
But there is a group of people, and I'm sure there's multiples, but I know of one group out of Southern California, and once a year, they basically pay the railroad to bring their locomotives down and couple them into like 15 cars, and all 15 cars are different families or individuals, and they take them all over the freaking place.
So why don't we rent one for the faculty and go all over the country recording and smoking cigars in it?
That would be cool. I mean, I kind of think that might be like a good way to die.
It would be awesome.
It would be awesome.
But I'm going to need a fancy car.
Oh, absolutely. Well, I mean, really, you need one fancy car, and then you need sleeper car.
I'll sleep in the fancy one, and you guys can go and
the
sleep.
Fancy one is like the lounge area where we're smoking, eating, drinking.
All right, fine.
Yeah.
We're going to need a chef, too.
Zeka. Zeka would be a hell of a chef. Like, if I could do like a week trip like that and have Zeka cooking, that would be amazing.
Can we make that happen? A Cigar Talk.
Oh, you know what? Let's
via
start
the rail?
We're going to start a GoFundMe for Cigar Talk on the rail. I like it. I dig that. All right. So, tell me the name of the last movie again.
Doubt.
Okay. I remember seeing like maybe a poster for that, and I was like, man, Catholic shit.
I know. And again, these are not films.
Hey, no offense to those who are Catholic. I was just like, I'm not into going and seeing religious films.
Right. And I'm not promoting it as a religious film. I'm promoting it as...
But when you see, I'm saying when you see the guy's a priest and a nun, you're like, oh, I don't want to see it.
Yeah, we're not promoting theology in this film. It's just very thought-provoking and very... It's just a good movie. I can see why the play won the Pulitzer.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So it was a direct play as well.
Yes, it was originally a play. Yeah.
Okay, cool. So off topic here, what is that? What's her name? That blonde that is on Good Morning America, the series. Not Jennifer Aniston.
Reese Witherspoon?
Yes.
You mean the morning show?
Yeah. That's it. Are you aware that she's like a billionaire?
Yeah, because she's freaking awesome.
Do you know how she made all that money?
Was it the Books Club or whatever?
Boom.
Yeah.
Do you know why? She's a genius.
Yeah.
Because she's a celebrity, she automatically has all these people coming out to check out a book that's released on her platform. And she says to everyone, hey, you can release your book on my platform. I'm not charging you. It's going to give you a lot of exposure, but I automatically get first rights for any movie deal.
No, and I'll tell your listeners, I know you guys have a lot of men on here, but if your wives are really into reading, she actually has this like gift set that you can order. It comes in the mail. It's got a book. I think it's got some socks, maybe something else, but it's this little, package deal that you can give as a gift for somebody. So
where do you find that, and how much was it?
I don't know how much it is. I think it's just on her website.
Okay, what's her website?
Well, I'm sorry, I'm not like I'm not
ReeseWitherspoon.com.
Yeah, I'm not a groupie.
Do you know what her book club's called?
No, I know nothing about the book club other than she has one.
Oh, I didn't. I thought maybe you were a part of it. No. You like to read?
Well, I love to read. I don't typically read. Well, I've read some of the stuff she's recommended, but most of it I haven't. So.
Okay. So I haven't read any of the things that she's recommended.
So, like, I'll give you an example. Then they just made this into a movie, that Where the Crawdads Sing. It came out a year or two ago. That book really gained national attention because she pushed it. And she was a producer for the movie. And so because of her, that book really took off, hence the book club, the power of the book club, basically.
Well, what impresses me about the whole Reese is that she's a billionaire because she's a badass businesswoman.
Absolutely.
You know what I mean? That's like, you don't see, a lot of people are going to say, you don't see a lot of women that are that successful doing something like that. And I would break it down and say, you don't see very many people do something like that.
No.
You can't even confine it to men or women. She's just a badass business person.
Absolutely. And she does, she's done, producing, directing, acting, and really good stuff. She really has. It's not just that Legally Blonde.
I follow her as well.
Yeah, she's good.
Whatever. She posts some funny shit.
Yeah, I like her.
Now, the other two people, well, I say people. What's the name of the podcast that I love with Bateman?
Oh, Smartless. If you're not listening to Smartless, oh my gosh.
They're like, we're listening to Smartless every week here.
Yes. I'm like, oh my gosh. I was an early adopter of that in 2020 when they started it. And then Rob 3 years later comes along and is like, have you heard of this? So it is fantastic.
And to be fair, the only reason I even found out about it was because they have a Netflix special where they actually take their podcast on the road.
It's an HBO Max.
And it's badass. Because all the show that they're showing, it's all done in black and white, which I'm a huge fan of that. And it's done like you're just hanging out with them for the travel part.
Yeah.
They show you like parts of the show, but mainly, well, I don't know, it's 50-50. But they go around, and the premise behind the show is there's 3 of them on the show. Jason Bateman's one, and Arnett.
Will Arnett and Sean Hayes.
There
And
you
they've
go.
all been friends for 20 or 25 years, like really close friends.
And they talk a lot about like back before they got into the business. Well, at least Arnett and the other one, because Bateman's been in the business since he can. Yeah.
Yeah, baby.
Yeah. Billy Baby Bobble Bonkers. That's a twister. But no, I highly recommend that you check out that podcast because, I mean,
It's great if you're just having a bad day and need a laugh. I mean, it's perfect.
It's not serious.
It's not serious.
It's just laid back. Hey, you're a dumbass. I'm a dumbass. Let's have fun.
And you know, a lot of celebrities get asked stupid questions over and over and over, and they don't do that. Because they've been asked them over and over and over, so they know how to navigate that.
Yeah, and I hate those regular same old. That's why I got to where I'm like here on this show. We interview people like in the cigar realm,
right?
And you know what question I hate? So, how did you get into cigars? You know what I mean? I'm like, nobody really gives a shit, but that's a check off the box. And then it was like, oh, so you loved it, and then you did this and this and this, and oh, so what made you go into the business?
Right.
It's like, all right. I'm like, hey, were you mentally abused as a child? Like, you don't even understand. You heard Ed today. You ask Ed, does anybody know Ed's secrets? And who did he say? He said Rob.
Yes, he did.
And I'm like, yeah, because when I get him over here and it's just me and him, like, he will answer any question I ask.
Ooh.
And so we have a couple of cigars. We've had a couple of bourbons. And I'm like, I'm asking him questions. Like last time I said, how much time you think you got left, Ed? I mean, who asked those kind of questions? But I'm interested. You know what I mean? I'm like, hey, dude, have you thought this through? He's 72.
If you haven't thought it through, you need to start thinking about it.
I'm like, hey, dude, time's ticking. Let's plan some fun shit, you know? But I will ask Ed anything that pops into my brain, and which can be scary for some. But Ed always answers. But I loved when you asked him today, you said, does anybody know you, like your deep,
I
dark...
said, who do you tell your deepest, darkest secrets to?
Yeah. And he said, I tell him to Rob because he gets me drunk. I was like, I did not know that, but good to know, Ed. Whatever it takes. All right, guys, that's going to wrap it up for this week's show. We want to say thank you to Hatch for filling in for COVID Boy. And next week, we are going to have a special guest. We have Mike. I'm not going to tell you any more than that because I don't remember his last name. But anyway, his name's Mike, and he is in the cigar industry. It's a recent endeavor, and I wanted to have him come on and say, hey, what's it been like? How hard is it? And what would it take for somebody else that's interested to do it? You know what I mean? Like, I have no interest. Like, I used to think I wanted to open my own shop. Hanging out at the Leaf, I'm like, I want no part of this. Yeah. You know what I mean?
It's not just running a cigar business. It's a lot of
It's a people person.
Business.
It's a people business.
Yes.
And the thing about it is,
a lot of personality.
What I found out is I don't like a lot of people. But the ones I do like, I love. But those that I don't, They rub me the wrong way. Anyway, guys, thanks for hanging out with us, smoking cigars, drinking some bourbon, and until next time,
just keep smoking.